We're almost halfway through the college football season, and I think we got a good idea on who's good, who's bad, and who might need a return to school. And I know there's still another half of the season left to be played, and a lot can change. But as it stands now, I think these guys probably should wait a year before they decide to enter the NFL draft. So let's get into it. Special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Thank you for sponsoring today's video. I first want to start with the quarterbacks because of course we do. And I'm going to start with Sam Leavitt out of Arizona State. He's 6'2", 210 pounds, and he's coming off a really good game against Baylor in a win. But we're only a few weeks removed from a Mississippi State game where they literally had to take the ball out of his hands in the second half to get back into the game. And I believe in Leavitt. I think he's got good arm talent. I think he's a gamer. But right now, an adjusted completion rate of 69%. Remember that adjusted number takes away spikes and throwaways and drops. So it gives you the truest sense of how accurate they are on a throw-to-throw basis. And when you're below 70%, that ain't ideal. That is just not. So I think Sam Leavitt probably, and even if he ends up playing well down the stretch, I think it's probably in his best interest to remain another year and just get some more significant playing time under his belt and try to become more accurate as a passer, because we know he's got that dog in him. Woof woof. A couple of other young guns that I think might end up staying. We got Nico, who's currently at UCLA. He had that notorious leaving Tennessee to chase more money, and it's kind of blown up in his face, so to speak, at UCLA. And he might end up in the transfer portal going somewhere else. I think it's just very likely he's returning. There's Darren Manessa at Duke. He's getting paid a lot of money. He's the reason Nico transferred, because he was getting paid a good grip of NIL money. He's played well this year, but I think it would be more beneficial if he stays in school and continues to just, again, get more starts under his belt. Aiden Childs out of Michigan State. He's got some interesting tools, but I think he needs a lot more polish. But having a good year, but he's stupid young. He just is. Now, Arch Manning obviously probably returned to school. Hasn't been great for him this year. LaNorris Sellars, though, could be interesting. I think there might be a world where I think it's beneficial for him to return to school, get more starts under his belt. But also, he's just so darn talented and the tools are just that good that, well, just why not come out this year and maybe you fall into the hands of a franchise that will develop you and use you properly. But he's improved when it comes to the middle of the field, the intermediate passes. He's a lot better than people give him credit for. I think he is developing as a passer. If we go look at that, he's 75% adjusted completion percentage over on the intermediate parts of the field. When you look at the center intermediate part of the field, where that's where the most turnovers happen to young quarterbacks, it's a dangerous part of the field. He's 76.9 adjusted completion percentage. That's a really, really good number. Now, yeah, it kind of comes in ebbs and flows for the South Carolina offense, and that's kind of been the Achilles heel for them this year. That, man, the offense just, you can't trust it. You can't rely on it. They're hot one moment and they're cold the next. They go through streaks. And I think Sellars, I think it would be beneficial if he returned, but he's probably going to be a top 5, top 10 pick regardless. But I thought I'd mention him in this list. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention Sellars' teammate, Nyck Harbor, because he's built like Megatron. He's built like Andre Johnson. He's 6'5", 235 pounds, exceptionally physically gifted. He's athletically gifted, but he is kind of that, he's a track player playing football, and he's now developing into an actual football player. He's dropped track. This is his first year dropping track and focusing solely on football. And the ball skills are still coming along. Currently a 16.7% drop rate. Not great, not ideal, but to be fair, he hasn't been targeted much because he's stuck in the ebbs and flows of that South Carolina offense. He hasn't really performed or had a big performance since the season opener against Virginia Tech, where he went for 99 yards and a touchdown. Should have been 2 touchdowns. But Vandy, in the Vandy game, you could argue he should have had a long touchdown, ended up being called back because it happened right after the Sellars got hurt. And the refs, they kind of blow it here. They blow the play dead as Harbor is going to sprint into the end zone because they were like, we're going to review targeting. And it's like, how can you just stop the game mid-play like that? I don't know. Officiating's been kind of wild this year for college football, but Harbor, I think he's got that dog in him. There's a want to get better. And I think as soon as this South Carolina offense kind of irons out some of the wrinkles, becomes more consistent, we're going to see Harbor's play get better. I do want to throw out there, or someone to at least monitor, DeAndre Moore Jr. out of Texas. I kind of put my flag at him as someone who was going to have a big season this year, and he's kind of been the third fiddle, I guess, because you have Livingstone, who's kind of emerged as the top threat there. And I mean, that's an offense with Ryan Wingo, but yeah, let's just monitor his output for the remainder of the year. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. But let's jump to the defense. Let's talk David Oki, defensive tackle out of Arkansas. He's 6'2", 312 pounds. He transferred from Abilene Christian this past season, and he missed the first 2 games of the year as he was nursing a knee injury during the offseason. And he's only played 31 total snaps, I believe. And he's just getting back into the thick of things. He just had 23 snaps versus Memphis in that letdown, I guess, for Hogs fans. But I would say just redshirt this year. They could honestly play him the next 2 games, but have him take a redshirt because coming into the year, he was someone talked about by guys like Dane Brugler and such. They were like, hey, watch out for this guy. He might have a big year because he was coming off a big year at Abilene Christian. I think maybe redshirt, get healthy, integrate yourself into the defense. And sticking with the defense, let's talk Anto Saka, the edge out of Northwestern. He's 6'4", 274. If you remember my edge rankings over the summer, I had him and Max Llewellyn from Iowa as, hey, these are guys with some very interesting traits who just haven't seen enough playing time as it stands. And when it comes to Saka, he's a redshirt junior. He can legitimately come back for another year because I don't think the production's where it needs to be in his first full year as a starter. They've only played 3 games. He's only got 7 pressures, no sacks, but he does have a win rate of 15.9%. He's exceptionally fast, just a Tasmanian devil. Honestly, with him, you want to see more polish, and I think he can get that just by returning next year. But there's a lot of traits with this dude to be someone who can be a future, I would say, top 100, top 50 pick in an NFL draft. Before we continue with today's video, I gotta give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app, sign up with promo code BROSHMO. They match that first deposit up to $1,000. Reduce is the best place for weekly best baller, my favorite, higher or lower on player stats. We have just begun the NFL season, the football season, all of a month ago. So if you want to get in on the action, it is a perfect time to do that. Underdog has promos each and every day for you to take advantage of. And if you want to take advantage of, I don't know, get in a free match up to $1,000 reduce, then download the app, sign up with promo code BROSHMO. But as always, play responsibly, play within your means. And we're going to remain in the trenches, which this could be a hot take. I put Caleb Lomu, the offensive tackle out of Utah, on this list. He's 6'6", 304 pounds, and a lot of people already have him as a first rounder in this upcoming draft. And I don't disagree too much with that because he's got a long frame, good movement skills. He checks a lot of boxes. I think he could go from, he could probably be a fringe first rounder to like surefire top 10 pick with another year, because he is currently in his redshirt sophomore season, and he's coming off a game against Texas Tech, which I would say the Red Raiders, they won in the trenches. Guys like David Bailey and Romello Heights got the better of the combination of Lomu and Fano. So for me, Lomu, all the traits. If you feel like, you know what, I'm going to be first rounder anyway, let's just send it, then cool. I think he has the makings of a top 10 pick, though, if he decides to stay another year. But again, all that can change. Maybe he gets hot in the second half of the season. Now, when it comes to Kaydn Proctor, the tackle at Alabama, he is a junior. He can return for a senior season. He's exceptionally gifted. I think he moves well at 6'7", 360 pounds. But his season's been so up and down, specifically as a pass protector, that people are like, yeah, you can't trust this dude on an island. Let's kick him inside the guard. And I hate 6'7" guards. And it's like, sure, they could play in gap schemes and it'll be fine. But as pass protectors, not every quarterback can play under center or play behind a line that has a 6'7" guard on it. That's all I'm saying. But with Proctor, the talent's there. It really is. He's just got to put it together. If you want to go to true pass sets this year thus far, a 91% win percentage, you might be like, hey, he's winning 9 times out of 10. That's pretty good. Well, your elite guys are at 98%. So if you're below 95%, then it's considered like, okay, not what we're looking for. You need to be better in that regard. And even against Wisconsin, he allowed 2 pressures. How many penalties does he got on the year? Only 1? I'm shocked. But yeah, Florida State basically took him to the wood house, the wood shop, the wood chipper. That's the word I'm looking for. 6 pressures, a sack. It was just rough. So I think Proctor could benefit a lot from staying, especially with people now just with, he's a guard, position change. I don't think that has to be the case. If he sticks around for another year and proves, no, I can grow as a pass protector. You can leave me on an island and I'll take care of business. I'm not saying the dude's like super quick or athletic, but at 360, it's pretty athletic. But let's talk about the secondary, because there were some hyped up corners in this class. One being Christian Gray. Consistently saw him at the very least as a day 2 projection. And I just don't think he's currently there, because he's kind of been the picked on guy in that secondary. You might be like, well, yeah, because stinking Leonard Moore is going to be a top 10 pick. He might be the best corner in college football right here, right now. And yes, I don't disagree with any of that, but Gray is a true junior. He can stick around and develop, because he is sticky when it comes to man coverage, but he's also grabby. Already 3 penalties through the first 3 games. He's allowed 162 yards, allowed a completion rate of 59.1%. That's not terrible. If you're going to be an elite guy, you want that around 45, under 50, really. But the penalties, man, they were crippling. You go to the Texas A&M game, and you have Texas A&M trying to get the go-ahead score. And I believe it was 4th and goal. And it was Gray's defensive holding call that extended the drive. So Gray does, I would say, at least right now, because they faced the best competition on their schedule already in their first 2 games. Miami, which Gray allowed 7 receptions on 12 targets for 64 yards. And then A&M, 3 receptions on 5 targets for 48, but he was penalized twice. Shoot, he just allowed a touchdown to Purdue. So yeah, I think there's more work that can be done. And yeah, I can definitely see Gray as a day 2 player. He's just not that guy right now. Next on this list, it's Darius Taylor, running back out of Minnesota. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds, and he's just a strong, powerful back. Unfortunately, history of hamstring issues that have caused him to miss games here and there. And it looks like he's missing time right now because of a hamstring issue. Currently, he's only played in the first 2 games. I mean, 161 yards on 33 carries. That's pretty solid. But I don't know, man. I think he would just benefit from having a fully healthy season, because we've seen what he can do as a receiver. It's not like he's doing anything crazy. He's running the typical running back route tree, but he can create after the catch. He had 349 yards received last year, and it might not be the most dynamic back, but last season, 3.91 yards after contact. That's close to elite. If you average over 4, then you're in the higher percentile. So yeah, I would prefer right now. He could have a healthy second half of the season and work himself back into maybe this day 2 mix. I know that I'm reshuffling my rankings this week and next week, and I'm not going to have Taylor as a day 2 pick. I'm just not. Speaking of some other guys that have been hurt at this position that are probably returning, we got West Virginia's Jaheim White, who got, I believe he got hurt after a game or 2. Let me pull this sucker up. Yep. After 2 games, he went down with a season-ending knee injury. He's a true junior, though, but being an undersized back, he's already got that going against him. So returning for his senior season seems wise. Quinnen Joyner, the run back at Texas Tech, actually didn't take a snap for Texas Tech in this season because he suffered an ACL injury. But a guy that coming into the year was getting some hype because his forced missed tackle rate's pretty darn good. Yards after contact, 4.5. And that was with USC last year, where he was the backup in the rotation there with Woody Marks. So I expect him to return to school as well. And then last but not least, of course, I got to talk about some Clemson players. I'm going to specifically talk about Peter Woods, and then we're going to move into TJ Parker, because I think the bigger disappointment is Peter Woods, just because of how high his ceiling is, because I think he's an elite level athlete at the defensive tackle position. And now he's playing defensive tackle more full time. Last year, remember, he was kind of splitting time between edge and on the interior. And this year, just didn't take the jump we expected. I believe he actually has 4 pressures on the season, 11 defensive stops. He's been phenomenal as a run defender, but we're not seeing that upside as a pass rusher. And to be fair, I would say that the Clemson defense, while not bad, has just been disappointing. And Woods, I think there might be a good chance he slips out of the top 10, but I still think he's probably a top 20 prospect just based on the tools. Now let's talk TJ Parker, because he's currently being I think with Parker, we kind of knew. I don't think he's got like elite power, elite speed, but he's got good power, good speed. That the floor on him was pretty darn high, and I think he's just playing to that floor right now. He's got 9 pressures, 2 sacks on the year, 12% pass rush win rate. That's not gonna blow anybody's mind, and it doesn't help that he's getting outplayed on the other side with his counterpart Will Helt, who was probably the one transfer Dabo actually went out and got out of, I believe, Purdue. And it's not like he's setting the world on fire, but he's got 9 pressures, 4 sacks, 14.6 pass rush win rate. So for me, I think right now, hoping things maybe change with Woods. I think he's still a top 20 player. Because again, you're going to bet on those tools. Might return just to get back into that top 10 discussion, because that's where the upside's at. With Parker, let's see. Because Parker's been starting since he's been a freshman. And I just want to specifically see. Yes, he is indeed a true junior. So Parker can return. But I mean, I think with him, Parker's at least a fringe first rounder, top 50 pick, just because of how good the floor is with him. And don't look now. There might be a chance that we talk about Will Helt in the first round, potentially. They're out of Clemson. I'm going to give him a watch. I think maybe at the end of this week or beginning of next. But let me know, who has disappointed you this season? Who are some prospects you think might return to school and next year? Take note of those guys and let's see how they play in the second half of the college football season. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. Matter of fact, become a bro and subscribe. And of course, a special thanks to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. It's promo code Broshmo if you didn't know so. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.